Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be answering the 15 most asked questions on Google about what is a VP shunt. So if that's something that's interesting to you, feel welcome to stay on this channel and to watch this video. Hello guys, for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Dani and I am living with a chronic condition called hydrocephalus. That chronic condition called hydrocephalus is managed sometimes by implanting one device, medical device, which is called a VP shunt. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering the 15 most asked questions on Google about VP shunts, like about what are VP shunts and how are they usually used. So first of all, I would like to let you know that I am not a doctor and I'm going to be answering all of those questions from my own experience. I have been living with a diagnosed hydrocephalus for the past 16 years and I got a shunt implementation surgery right away. So I have been living with the shunt implanted for the past 16 years. And my shunt is a VP shunt, which is what I'm going to be typing into Google search to be looking for questions asked, which means a ventriculoperitoneal shunt, or a shunt like a tube that goes from my brain or from the ventricles in my brain into my peritoneum, or the cavity which kind of holds all of the abdominal organs together. I do have a lot of experience with it, and currently I am even having one of the more specific, let's say, experiences with living with a VP shunt. Being a woman, I am pregnant, and my pregnant uterus and the end of my VP shunt are kind of sharing the same really cramped space at this point at 8.5 months pregnant. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into the questions that people ask on Google about VP shunts. So how am I going to do that? I have my iPad in here and I'm going to just type into Google search VP shunt. I've already pre-typed this, so if you can see that. So I just went into Google and typed VP shunt, and then all of the first 15 questions that came up, I'll be answering today on our video. So I've already pre-typed this for you and I'm going to be reading the questions and then answering. So of course, the first question that comes up is, what is a VP shunt? What is a VP shunt? A good start, to actually know what that is. So a VP shunt, or a ventriculoperitoneal shunt, is a medical device that relieves pressure on the brain caused by fluid accumulation. Basically, what a ventriculoperitoneal shunt is a tube that has one end is placed in the brain and then the other distal end is placed in the peritoneum. Hence, it's a ventriculoperitoneal shunt. This tube drains the excess of fluid that builds up on the brain, which is the result from hydrocephalus. So that is the main issue with hydrocephalus, is the buildup of that cerebrospinal fluid, which is the fluid that basically your brain is engulfed in. It's kind of a protection shield for the brain. So that's what a VP shunt is. It's basically a tubing mechanism that's used to drain the excess of fluid from your brain into your peritoneum. Question number 2. Why is a VP shunt placed? So we kind of already answered that question, didn't we? So VP shunts are placed to treat hydrocephalus. Then we have question number 3 coming up. How long do VP shunts last? This is the question. And then the most common answer is VP shunts are likely to require replacement after several years, especially in small children. So the reason for this in small children is that there is actually a sizing to the tube. So as small children grow in height, they will kind of outgrow the tube, they'll outgrow the length of the tube. So it will need to be replaced just in order for the tube to be long enough for it to be placed in the right position, so that it doesn't, come off, or it doesn't come loose, or doesn't do any other harm. In my case, the VP shunt was placed when I was 17, so I was already fully grown in height, and there has been no need for the shunt to be replaced. Just another point, shunt systems need frequent monitoring, which is very important, and that's usually done via visits to the neurosurgeon or visits to a neurologist, and having MRI scans and all of that. Then question number 4, which is one of the most important questions in my opinion. Can you live a normal life with a VP shunt? And my answer from my experience would be absolutely. So I've been living a normal life in any aspect. I have gone to university, completed the degree. I'm currently in the process of completing my second degree in psychology. I have a job which is a corporate full-time job that I'm very much pleased with and satisfied with. I really love to work out. I am into running and into long distance running, marathon running. I have completed 5 marathons with my hydrocephalus and with my VP shunt placement. I am married. I am currently pregnant. So yeah, you can have a normal life with very few limitations. Again, here one of the most important parts is to have regular checkups in order to know how your hydrocephalus is going and if your VP shunt system is doing okay as well, and whether or not it needs to be fixed or whether or not it needs to be replaced. Moving on to question number 5, which is how serious is brain shunt surgery? Out of my experience, I had 2 brain surgeries, one after the other. And also one was to confirm the reason for my hydrocephalus, which is a benign tumor, and then the other was for the actual VP shunt placement. The procedure itself was not very difficult, you know, from what I understood, because I'm not a neurosurgeon, I'm not a doctor or something like that. From what my doctors told me, it is a very straightforward procedure that they're very used to doing. They're doing it on, you know, infants and small children as well. The procedure itself lasts about 2 hours, I think, from my experience. So I was 17 years old. I had never before been into hospital. It was very scary and serious from my point of view, because I wasn't, you know, really sure what's going on. I didn't know what to expect, and I wasn't prepared for that because it was quite urgent for me, and it was pretty serious and urgent for me to get the surgery. I was scared. I would not lie. I was scared, and I wasn't really feeling very comfortable. So yeah, that's question number 5, how serious is brain shunt surgery? Then going on to question number 6, which is basically the same question, and it is shunt surgery brain surgery? Yes. So the answer here from the NHS is the shunt surgery is done by a specialist in brain and nervous system surgery, neurosurgeon. It's done under general anesthetic and usually takes 1 to 2 hours. You may need to stay in hospital for a few days after the operations recover. If you have stitches, they may dissolve or need to be removed. So yes, we kind of answered that question with the previous one as well. Yeah, shunt surgery is a brain surgery. So let's go on the next question. How long is recovery after a VP shunt? From my experience, it is very much up to the person. So it depends on how old is the person, if there is any other underlying condition, how good is their general health, like if they have any other issues. In my case, I had to stay in hospital for a couple of days. So actually for 5 days, I stayed in hospital for 5 days after my VP shunt surgery, and then I was able to go back to school after a month. So a total of about 5 weeks, and then I had to take a week off of school before that as well to run tests and to arrange for, you know, hospital admission. And let's see what the most popular answer is. It says, it is okay for you to lie on the side of your head with the shunt for 6 weeks. Do not do any activity that may cause you to hit your head. So yeah, I was warned not to do any sports. It's not really recommended for you to strain. Going on to question number 8. What are the side effects of a VP shunt? And then the most popular answer is, some of the most common risks of cerebrospinal fluid shunts include infection, shunt malfunction, and improper drainage. Infection from a shunt may produce symptoms such as low-grade fever, soreness of the neck or shoulder muscles, and redness or tenderness along the shunt tract. I personally have not experienced any types of side effects from VP shunt except from feeling discomfort, and that discomfort I felt mainly in the very beginning when I was not used to the shunt being there, because I could actually feel it, and I still can sometimes even feel it after 16 years. When I do some awkward movement with my head or something, I can kind of feel it flip, which is really awkward. Also, I can feel it when I touch my head and when I touch my neck. I know it's there. At the very beginning, that whole area where the shunt was placed in was really tender, like really tender to the touch and really tender even on its own. Even clothing was kind of irritating it. And I was experiencing some aches and pains at the insertion point of the shunt. Those were my not side effects, because they're not side effects, but my uncomfortable experiences with the VP shunt. Then moving on to question number 9, which is what is the most common complication of a VP shunt? And the most popular answer is that obstruction is the most common cause of VP shunt malfunction. Yeah, so basically obstruction can happen because of an infection and the buildup of some material inside of the shunt, or because of, you know, some body parts blocking some part of the shunt. However, I'm very lucky, and I'm really very thankful for being so lucky, because for the past 16 years, as mentioned, I've had no malfunctions. I have been able to lead a happy and healthy life. I haven't had any issues with my VP shunt, and I'm really happy about it. Then moving on to question number 10, which is not really related to the shunt and to the VP shunt, but more to the hydrocephalus as a condition. And this is, what is the life expectancy of a person with hydrocephalus? And basically the reason why this question comes up in this Google search is because the Google search responds with regards to treated hydrocephalus. And the way to treat hydrocephalus, one of the ways to treat hydrocephalus is through VP shunt surgery. So the common answer here is that if the hydrocephalus is caught on time and well managed, as for example in a successful VP shunt surgery, the person can be expected to have normal life expectancy as a healthy person with no condition. Moving on to question number 11, which is what is the success rate of a VP shunt surgery? And the good news here is that it is up to 80%. So hydrocephalus can be successfully managed via a VP shunt surgery in 80% of the cases, which is great news according to me, as someone living with hydrocephalus and having a VP shunt implanted. I think this is really great news indeed. Then next question, do VP shunts ever get removed? Aha, a very nice question indeed. And one that I'm also very much intrigued by, because I was, you know, hoping that at some point my VP shunt will be removed and will not need to be replaced again, which will be amazing, to be honest. And basically the answer is that once the shunt has been proven to be unnecessary, it can be removed. This will need to be confirmed by your neurosurgeon. You will need to go through to a checkup, and it will need to be confirmed that you no longer depend on your VP shunt, and then it can be removed, but you'll need to be very closely monitored for the next days or months even, in order for your neurosurgeon to be able to confirm that you don't need another VP shunt implanted and that you're doing fine without the VP shunt. Then question number 13, which is what activities you cannot do with the VP shunt. And as mentioned, I haven't had any really big limitations. I have literally faced very few limitations in my life. And some of the limitations that are listed here in the response to the Google question are really not something that I would be considering doing in the first place anyway. But if it's something that you enjoy or that you like doing, it's probably a good idea to know that you cannot really do that, because it might be harmful to you and to your shunt. It might cause some problems. So what you cannot do is practice martial arts, then doing contact sports like rugby, in order not to kind of injure your head or injure or harm your shunt as well. Gymnastics and dance for the same reason, but this is like some extreme dancing. It's not, you know, ballroom dancing or, you know, dancing on your wedding or something like that. It's just some of the acrobatic dances. Then some water sport, because the pressure in your head is changing when you are diving, for example. So when you're diving, the pressure in your head gets elevated anyways due to you holding your breath, and if you're someone living with hydrocephalus, you wouldn't do that in the first place because the pressure in your head is already too high. So you'd like to avoid any activities that can help elevate your skull pressure further. So actually the only activity that I learned the hard way that I shouldn't be doing is roller coaster. I went to one in Copenhagen once when I was visiting Denmark, and it actually really hurt my head. So I was, you know, all the awkward movements and all the, you know, jerking of the head and all of that really made me dizzy and sick, and I didn't know why. And then I read that roller coasters are not okay for people with hydrocephalus and other neurological conditions. Oops. Then one of my favorite questions in Google, and I'm not sure, you know, why it's even here, but can you drink alcohol with a brain shunt? And the answer is yes. Out of experience, yes. Google most popular answer, yes. of course in moderation. So, you know, I'm not promoting drinking here or anything like that, but just, yeah, the answer is yes. And then last but not least, which is something that I'm very interested in because I am just a very keen traveler. Can you fly with a VP shunt? And the answer is yes as well. So basically you can do that safely. For parasailing, I wasn't sure if that's cheating or not, so I went ahead and did it. I did experience some dizziness and, you know, headache after that, but I think that it's normal, and even people without such an underlying condition may experience such issues. So these are the 15 most commonly asked questions on Google with regards to VP shunts. Thank you very much for staying till the end, and I hope that that was interesting and informative to you. Again, I was sharing, apart from the Google's most popular answer, my personal experiences, which I hope is going to be helpful to you as well. If you're someone who is going through a VP shunt surgery soon, or you have hydrocephalus, or you have questions around VP shunts, I'm just sharing my personal experience as someone who has been living with such a device implanted for a very long time now. So about half my life, I've been living with a VP shunt implanted, which is crazy. I do have a bonus question, which is, can you get pregnant with a VP shunt? And the answer is yes. I am currently 8 months and a half pregnant, and it's been a journey. It's been amazing, and I love it. And yeah, the answer to that is yes as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for staying till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Also, if you're interested, make sure to check out the other videos of my hydrocephalus and VP shunt list, linked in the description below. Thank you.